Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
Where we give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Hola, Wesley. Por favor.
Hola.
Yes. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm all right. About yourself?
I'm all right, man. Just, looking at all these videos with these migrants.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That what happened in New York was it's kind of a bad situation. It's really bad situation when you really look into it and read about it. It's kind of tough to even. There's no defense of that right there. That's pretty cut and dry. I mean,
yeah.
To be honest with you, I'm surprised the officers didn't do what sometimes officers do.
What's that? Shoot people?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
well, they didn't know if they was migrants or Puerto Ricans.
I don't know. I can't. That's
one gets a parade and one gets money. So
But what I will say is this right here. To be honest with you, I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at them, like if there's 4 people who are attacking police officers in that way, I would expect the officers to have defended themselves and use violent means, what I mean, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I would expect them to have done that, but they didn't. I won't even say held your composure, because they could have taken them guns from them officers and it could have got worse. So,
they could, they're making like there's the other kid too, the one that he shot the tourist, the other migrant guy. They're like, yeah, he was there, he was doing something, and he shot a tourist, and they came to get him. And they're taking all this and they're polarizing it all through the news. Look at what these migrants are doing. I'm like, that's 5 people out of 7 million. That's like when a black dude does something, like, look, they're all bad.
I'm gonna tell you right now, though, when I'm watching this video of what these 4 people, what does look like more than 4, like a group of them, they was kicking officers. I've never seen nobody do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, to me, that's bold. And at the same time, then they let them out free on bail. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. I don't know anybody who would have got let out free on bail after attacking a police officer.
Well, yeah, they're gonna let a migrant out because the migrants ain't never gonna show back up because the police gonna get to them.
I guess they caught some of them in California or something like that. He said 4 men attacked or had fled to California. That's what it says on here. And I mean, pretty much. If they have to hold you, they should have put you in ICE. They should
have held you. You're not a citizen committing crimes against U.S. citizens.
Exactly.
They should hold you.
And then if it's found that you did commit the crime, you should be deported immediately. And if you're caught back in this country again, you should get broke off and get some real time.
That's what they did to the rapper Shine.
It shouldn't be in our state facilities. It should be like in an ICE facility type of deal. And so that's just how I feel about it. Because there's no way that you're supposed to let these people out on bail. Not after that kind of a crime.
Yeah, especially when you attack a police officer.
That's crazy.
I mean, you fight a regular citizen, that's different. But you just like you fight a peace officer.
Yeah,
like for us, we know if we fight the police,
not do that at all.
No, we can, but we know what's coming with it. Like, we ain't gonna make it.
But just how wild they got with it. It wasn't regular. It wasn't like they just, it was like they yanked away from the police officer and he fell down. They called that assault. They was kicking him in the head, running up on him. I mean, it could have got bad. I'm surprised that they didn't use lethal force, because if it was me getting hit up like that.
And you said they fled to California?
Like 4 of them, they said they fled to California.
Damn, that's quick.
They knew immediately what to do. You know what I mean? So
they probably got on the migrant bus going to California.
I don't know. But I mean, there's a good chance that however they got there, they made sure they got up out of New York.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean?
With all that free New York money.
And they understood what to do. If you watch some of the videos where it's showing them where they're going back to court or leaving court, they're just giving fingers to the cameras. You're showing like that you don't care about what our laws are here. And that's not to say that you're using this as a broad stroke to say all migrants, because if they told us there was 7 million just came across, like you said, it's only been 5. I'm sure there's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But even if there are 1,000 that committed crimes, it's not the same thing. But the biggest thing is that they're here. I won't say illegally because they're migrants, because they could have been.
Oh no, they're here legally. They're here legally. This is what it is. They're all here legally. If they weren't here legally, if they were here legally, they wouldn't be committing crimes. They'd be happy that they're here in America from wherever they came from.
People, I mean, like during the time, I know when they had when Cuba had their, we allowed a bunch of Cubans to come over here.
Yeah.
I know that they sent a lot of people from their prisons over here intentionally. They sent a lot of their worst people. You don't want to follow our laws. You don't want to be here. Go ahead, go to America.
Yeah.
And they sent them over here. That's a fact. And that's not to say some of these other countries aren't doing the same exact thing. I'm sure they are. So you're going to have some people. It's just people.
We've seen that. That's what Europe did to Australia.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
They sent their worst, and Australia saw. That's why you don't see you might see like 5 Aborigines.
Yeah, they pretty much they understood who they were sending there.
Yeah.
You know, the people who would get rid of the Aborigines. That's why, you know, as you said, there's not very many of them left.
Yeah.
They sent the right colonizers for that job. I guess you would say the right ones. We would say the wrong ones, but they sent the right ones in their regard. But yeah, this is crazy, man. I'm just really, it's just shocking to see something like that happen, and then the response is so weak. This is just adds more fuel to the fire of why are we letting people into our country, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you know, I'm watching some videos of watching people come across the border in heavy numbers. And we're not doing anything about it. It does make you sick. I mean, we're going to have to do something about this situation sooner or later. I mean, I'm very big in believing that people should be able to come to America for a better opportunity in life. That's what we are. We're a land of opportunity, and we should keep that door open, but it shouldn't just be anyone can cross at any given time for any reason.
I mean, are we still the land of opportunity? Yeah. Does the American dream still suffice these days?
For who? It just depends.
For us. I mean, what was it? A white picket in a fence? Oh, 2 kids and a dog.
I think it's different. I think it's changed. The American dream has changed. I think it's now it's an iPhone and you know what I mean,
and some sneakers.
You know what I mean? Something that's a little bit different. But I do think if you look at people from other countries, yes, it exists.
Yeah,
very much because they can't get these things that we can get in our country, man. We live pretty good. People don't realize like we live. It's not great because you can go to other countries. People say in Europe or in Asia, but there's so much smaller countries than we are. There's a lot less, you know. We'd have to fix so much of our country. It's such a broad country. It's not the same thing. But our country's good, man. We got a lot of places got clean water.
Oh, I love America. I just don't like the people in it.
I've been places. I've been down to like Mexico, other places, man. They don't even have sewer systems. Nothing. You're going outside to go to the bathroom. Not just in a bucket. Houses, man. It's crazy. I'm like,
I saw some guy with a bucket thing. He like just put like these bugs in there to eat all the poop. But he was in America.
Like enzymes or something.
Yeah, I didn't see what was in there, but he just poured the bugs.
I know there's places like that out here still, but it's very few and far in between. It's not the same. You know, I mean, we got electricity. A lot of countries have rolling blackouts where in their country they know for about 5 hours or more a day they're not going to have electricity, not going to have any power. We have to understand there's a lot of places like that in the world. So we are definitely a land of opportunity. You see these people come over here, and this is not to paint a picture that disparages anybody, but they may drive taxis or they may, do things like, but they're building themselves to put themselves in a situation to where they can do something else. They understand business because they come from a country where they already were seeing business happen in their country. They already had like opportunities in their country where they could understand, okay, if I had a chance to do this, then I'm going to take this and run with it. And we just don't. It's just that some Americans, we don't see that. We just lay around and talk about all the problems versus looking at what the solutions might be to those problems.
And a lot of people sit around and talk about the problems. They're not doing anything to fix it. They just want someone else to fix it for them. It's like, hey, this is going on. Why aren't you doing nothing about it? Start a neighborhood watch.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is it. That was a crazy situation, man. It shocked me. So when I first saw it, I was like, I didn't believe it. I mean, I believe that it happened. Don't get me wrong. I saw it. But I'm looking like, man, why didn't the police do what the police do? You know what I mean? They're jumping on the police. What you think is going to happen? But at the same time, then I'm like, who bailed these people out of jail?
Especially the NYPD.
Man, they killed somebody over loose cigarettes. This man had a loose cigarette.
They shot 4 black dudes in their car coming back from a bachelor party just because they wanted to.
So I was thinking, man, this got to be some kind of a setup. Then I look at them in their DA office, let them out without bail. Like, you assaulted police officers and you get out without bail?
Then they flicking off the cameras as they coming out, like on some Tupac-ish.
Man, that's just crazy to me because New York is so heavy on gun laws and everything else, but they're not taking care of that situation. It seems kind of off to me. Like, are we trying to prove a point here?
Well, this is what happens when you let a whole bunch of people into your country. They don't know the laws. They're not going to respect it. They're going to come in with the same views and the same mentality they had in their own
country. People the police in their country are killing them.
No, depending where you're at.
Me, man. The police in these other countries, man, have more. They're more than just the law. They can extort people, pull you over, give me some money, man. I've seen it.
Well, maybe they're looking at the cops here like they saw.
But it happened. They'll pull you over. I've seen it. I've been in a situation where but luckily I have people around me who kind of knew. I'm like, man, I'm not giving you nothing. But that not giving you nothing could have turned to me being in their jail where you got to, defecate in a hole in the ground. It's crazy. You know what I mean? So don't get it, man. They would have killed them in their other countries. They don't play. Them police officers, man, it's not like here.
Well, maybe they came here to America and was like, these cops is kind of soft.
They saw they could get away with it. They saw that they weren't going to they should have drew down on them.
They'd be like, they only shoot the black ones up here.
But
And I don't want to talk too bad about the country, man. Like, you know, like I didn't like this comment I saw from Tucker Carlson. And that made me kind of a little upset. You know, he went to Russia and did the Russian interview with Vladimir Putin or whatever. But he came back and he was like, you know, Moscow is more cleaner than any American city I visit. And I ain't like that. You know, like, hey, America, we got some dirty cities, but we have a lot of clean cities too.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's a lot of clean areas, bro. And if you don't leave the country and talk bad about your own country like that, especially in a person in your position. You don't like America. You don't think it's clean here. Go live in Moscow.
Same people who told Colin Kaepernick, well, if you don't like it here, then go back to, if you want to kneel for the national anthem, but you'll go and speak to these people in these other countries and basically disparage your home country. It's just weird to me that we're doing that now. I feel like that kind of came about after 2008.
Yeah,
Americans then all of a sudden we started liking countries that at one point in time that were our declared enemies. Period. You know, and all of a sudden America's like, oh well, these guys seem, Russia all of a sudden is our buddy. To me, I have nothing personally against Russia, but I also know they don't, when it comes to, not saying me personally, but as a country, they don't really mess with America at all. They don't fuck with us at all whatsoever.
But I'm saying this too. It's like, you know, here in America, we have our differences. And right now they're a little heated difference. They could be political. They could be race-based. Mm-hmm. They could be sexualized, whatever. But one thing you don't do is leave America and then talk trash about us to other countries, especially if you're from here. You know, and you're at a position where you're a news person. You know, like, you don't get to do that. You don't like America, get the fuck out.
And you
know what I'm saying? Like,
they shut up and dribble, all this other stuff that when other people wanted to speak about what's going on in the country to us, to other people within this country, it was gravy. But as soon as you see the Bill, this is not to change the interview, but it's like Bill O'Reilly, I believe that's his name is. Or,
Bill O'Reilly used to do Fox.
Yes, he had Trump on his show, and Trump was like, he said, you know, but Putin's a murderer. He's like, you think that we're so much better? This is what Trump said. And he's kind of like, and O'Reilly was kind of like, wow, you're going to say, because no American president had ever said that. That's not to say that we are or not, but American exceptionalism from the highest, you know, at the highest point of our government should never be questioned.
Yeah.
Ever. That's not to say that we don't do wrong, but we admit that amongst ourselves. We don't go outside and do that. But when I was watching that interview with Vladimir Putin, it's kind of, it almost, to me, it rang as a PR stunt.
Propaganda.
A lot of it. But I wouldn't have told Tucker Carlson not to take that interview.
I would have took it too. I would have took it too.
That interview. It's important for us to be able to get an interview like that with Putin. That's huge. Take the interview. But at the same time, too, Tucker knew what he was setting himself up for.
Yeah.
We sat there for like about 20-something minutes. Dude was like, I'm going to take 30 seconds to give you a little history lesson. About 21 minutes, 23 minutes in the interview, after the, you know, into this, he had about a 23-minute talk about the history of Ukraine and how Ukraine and Russia like separated and where it all came from. It was very interesting. Don't get me wrong; it was nice to know. But I'm seeing what he's doing is trying to speak to more people who are
sympathetic
in our country. It's a lot of us now. A lot of us. Most of us on the right now who are more sympathetic to the Russians. It's crazy. I thought you guys were neocons. But you know, anyway.
Yeah.
But and he's speaking to that, and it's really giving you a kind of almost like a sympathetic ear to, oh, we want to just rejoin our union from 18 or 800 and whatever years ago. Like talking like, man, nobody cares 800 years ago what countries were. I was probably in 800 years ago, my people were in Africa or somewhere else. I mean, obviously we weren't, you know, so who cares? If you want to go back to that far and that's what we want to join a country, I mean, retake over a certain territories for, then there's a lot of people who want to do that. But that's not to say that what he was saying he didn't believe.
Yeah.
I felt like he truly believed what he was saying. But at the same time, he's talking about during the same interview, oh, why do you guys care about what goes over here? You have your own problems. You have your own border issues. You have your own national debt issues. He's trying to drive a wedge that's already been driven into our country even further, and to say, why do you want to mess with us? We would never. He's like, why'd you go into Ukraine for? Oh, we thought America was going to attack us. America's not going to attack Russia. We have no reason to. We can beat you without attacking you. That's just what it is. My personal opinion of why he did this interview right now is because
he's probably going for Poland next.
And I think eventually that's going to end up happening. That's going to be a tougher pull because he's going to have to go unless we do what we're going to talk about in the next section, which Trump was saying, and pretty much wash our hands with NATO. It's going to be a tough one for him. But my personal opinion is that the last 3 months, Russia's oil revenue has been dipping because this whole thing kind of stems from the
sanctions. All the sanctions have been put on.
But so we made it so that they can only sell oil at $60 a barrel. That's a cap on their oil, but oil could be 90, but countries can't take it for more than 60, pretty much anywhere else. So a lot of countries can buy Russian oil cheap right now on the market. A lot of these countries, like Saudi Arabia, is buying Russian oil. Saudi Arabia is the number 2 producer of, I believe it's number 2 in the world, behind us right now. What the hell they need to buy Russian oil for? This is their way of basically contributing to the Russian economy during this time, helping them as one of the BRIC nation members to fight us. And we have bases in Saudi Arabia. We're supposed to be allies with Saudi Arabia. We have to pay attention to what's going on here. A lot of countries are buying their oil. India is buying their oil. India is a much larger, population base. It's more understandable. But they're taking the oil in, and what they're doing too in countries like India is they're refining it and then reselling it.
Yeah,
this is what they're making a profit off.
I mean, I would too. I would want to get away from the American dollar if I was some other country. All you've been doing is squeezing me for the last 100 so odd years.
I understand, but
messing up my economy, destroying people's other countries.
Okay, if I were to put on my like a hat that's saying that this isn't about America, then that's how I would feel too. I feel that way when it comes to African countries. I feel that way when it comes to a lot of different places, South American countries. That this is what we've been doing to a lot of people of color for a long time. I believe the same thing.
Yeah.
But as an American, which I am first and foremost, I have to look at these things through that view. Like, what are we, kind of people look at us like we're the world police. That's what made us wealthy. The American dollar in World War II was what made America America. Reason I say that is that after World War II, we came in, we helped break up pretty much. You had Great Britain pretty much was running the world. They had India, they had Hong Kong, they had South Africa. They pretty much they got Canada. Canada they got Australia. They got a bunch of different colonies all around the world. They were the most powerful country in the world at that time. They get knocked out by Germany. We come in and save them. We pretty much got to divvy up the spoils at that point in time and take the countries we wanted. We took half of Germany. We took a lot of other things that we wanted to make sure that kind of put us into a situation where we became a superpower. We were just basically in America at that time. We had a couple little outposts, a few places, but not really anything. We took Japan, that gave us outposts all the way, and then we got South Korea. But anyway, and so that was our world stage, kind of our presentation to the world stage. But what really took us over the top was the petrodollar. When we got all the Middle Eastern countries to take the dollar as form of payment for oil, that's what made us a powerhouse. When people talk about, we need to worry about our own country, the reason why we can worry about our own country, we don't have to worry about stuff that goes on in other countries, is because we worried about the world first. We made sure that everyone, we kind of bend to our will to a degree and put ourselves in a situation of power around the world. That's what you have to have.
Yeah, speaking of other countries, though, how you feel about Russia? Russia wants to come back and take all old Russia.
Yeah.
How you feel about them flying their planes around Alaska?
Well, I mean, Russia don't want any problems with us, man.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they don't have it, man. You can't beat your next door neighbor. I mean, you put me in a situation. You put us in a situation where we go to war with Canada, or we go to war with Mexico, which I would never, say that's a good idea.
Canada got an army? Yeah, they sure do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do. I had to think about that. My apologies, Canada.
We're not going to be able to run through them countries pretty quickly?
Yeah, easy. Well, it depends on, Canada's not that big. I mean, it's big. It's huge, but like where it's grossly populated at, it's like on the east and then on the west.
Like people really are pretty much along the borders.
Yeah, you have like Toronto, then you have like Victoria, and
yeah, but I mean, we wouldn't have too much of a problem taking care of that.
Yeah,
and look, these guys basically have only taken a small portion of Ukraine. They're going to say, yes, because we're helping them. So what? You guys can help whoever you want to help. And they're not going to be able to beat us. Because we just, so I don't look at Russia as a true threat. They know they're not a threat to the United States. It's all about nuclear weapons. That's what they're going to have to go to every single time. We got nukes too. So then what? But so I don't really look at them as, I know that
because they've been flying planes by Alaska lately to the point where they had to scramble some jets to them the other day.
Man, like I say, man. They got too much going on in their own backyard. They don't want any other problems right now. They're pretty much they're like the third power in the world right now. Probably maybe even the fourth or fifth. Past you probably can throw China in there.
Yeah, China's number 2.
Even India, and maybe even like Israel or some other country. I think Israel could probably give them problems. I'm gonna be real with you right now. How we're looking at them and the age of their actual. They don't even have a navy, but we're getting off the point a little bit. But
yeah,
these people. Yeah, they're not a big problem for us. We just want.
You think Israel will give Russia some problems?
Yeah, Israel got it. Man, look, remember, I forget who it was. He had an iPhone or something that we couldn't crack. No one could crack and get into this iPhone. They sent it to Israel. They cracked it and got into it. These dudes, man, okay. You look at this is going to be kind of a point that a lot of people don't want to hear, but most of the media around the world are owned by a lot of people who are of Jewish descent.
Yes, this is well known. Yes,
banks, a lot of that also, or investments or whatever the case may be. You look at it like
Hollywood.
Look at Facebook. Look at Instagram. Look at, you know what I mean? You look at WhatsApp. Every moment of the day, we're being listened to and probed. This is going on around the world.
Yeah.
By people who are, and that's not to say anything about like Mark Zuckerberg is working for, but come on, man. I mean, that's not to take anything away from him, but it's strange to me that the number one media outlet in the world is ran again by a person from this descent. That's not to say that they're just not really, really smart, but it just seems kind of, and
it's not coincidental. It's all by design.
That's all I'm saying. But so there are a lot. They know everything pretty much what's going on. We just don't know it. They're listening to us at all times. A lot of people who live outside the country use WhatsApp.
Well, a lot of people say, yeah, they do, because that's like when you get on the dating apps. That's what the women be like. You be like, hey, what's up? Like, hey, come over to WhatsApp. Let's talk over here. I'm like, why we got to talk over there? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's how they try to get you every time.
But it's just it's free for all people to be able to communicate around the world. They're saying it's encrypted, blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, that's also a listening device.
Yeah.
So if I can hear what's going on before it happens, I feel like Israel get a lot of people problems.
Well, they always say this, what I'm saying, like the people against you, they planning three generations ahead, and they say black folks, y'all planning for Saturday.
It's a crazy thing to say.
Yeah,
it could be true.
It's true.
But back to the Putin interview really quick. It just to me, I just felt like he was really trying to. I think right now they're going through a very tough time in that war with Ukraine. So he pretty much said like, well, if they want peace, I've already offered them peace. And one of the guys from Ukraine was going to take it, but then they said that the former prime minister,
the dude from the UK, he messed it up.
He said, no, don't take it. Because in reality, man, you already took some of their land. You took Crimea in 2014, which we should have not let happen. And then you've taken, I forget what the name of it's like starts with a D, but they've taken that area as well too. And what are we going to keep on letting you just take land that's not yours? Like we got it. Let go back to where your former borders were, and we can discuss peace.
I mean, America does it all the time. No one ever wants to discuss how we really got Hawaii.
I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to that's not to say it to you like that.
Yeah.
As an American,
I'm just saying
it doesn't matter. We're at war with somebody. You don't give them what you already took from them through blood and sweat. You don't just give it to them for free. We took it from them for a reason. Russia's dwindling for a reason. That was a power that was coming against us. We look at China; they're going to go through a lot of the same stuff. They're going through. Look at their stock market right now.
Yeah.
It's tanking. All foreign investments are being pulled out of China. They're running through a really bad time with like the housing crisis. They have like one of their biggest real estate investment firms or something like that. They're about to have to get bailed out by the government.
And Timu can't save them.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Timu can't save them.
No, not on this one.
They have some money for them Super Bowl commercials. I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying, like you have to look. They have ghost towns like with buildings with 100,000, unit apartment complexes that are empty right now. They're going through a very, very hard time over in China. But these are things that, as an American citizen, and we worry about these different countries that are going to overtake America or whatever the case may be, and people coming against the dollar. We have to understand this is what we have to understand these things, and we can't just sit back and be like, so we did it to other people, unless you want to be those other people. And me personally, I don't want to be those other people.
I heard that.
That's just how I feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd rather sit in the position we're in right now, but dictate better. We're dictating from an old school standpoint, which is just NATO, which is just North Atlantic, European countries, and we're not letting people into this game. That's why they're moving over that's what happens. When you don't do right by people and you consistently fuck over everybody, everybody of color, all the countries of color, take what they have. There's a guy from Blackwater. I think his name Blackwater. You ever heard of Blackwater before?
Yes.
It's like a militia.
Or they're like a hitman. They're like hired, an army you can hire.
Yeah, kind of like what's the Wagner group or whatever from Russia. Kind of like them. But the guy's like, well, we should go back to our old imperialistic way we used to be, where if you can't run your country, we'll come in and run it for you. But this is like when you go in to say this, how many of these countries have we killed their leaders? and put in coups inside of these countries so that they wouldn't be able to run their countries themselves. We've done this a lot. So we need to change the way we're doing business with countries of color. That's what I feel like more than anything else.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, like just like you said, the way of war is changing. Like today I was reading this article about how the U.S. Army is kind of getting away from choppers because now the war is going to be drone fought.
It's happening right now in Ukraine. It's huge. They're mostly like they're building like these little drones like this, like the ones they have, but they're building them like for cheap, a whole bunch of them, and they're just that's how they're
sending them. Yeah, I saw that where they had that drone and it was following the dude around the tank, and he was trying to run. He was like, "Oh, boom!" Blew his ass. I was like, "Damn!"
That was crazy. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're saying Ukraine, not Ukraine, but Iran right now has some of the biggest drone factories in the world right now. They're producing a lot of drones because people are saying that's the way of war. Yeah. Why send in troops when I can just drone the hell out of you? And then, it's just like bombing you, but better.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. When Obama was in, he was like, look, the face of war is changing. Yeah. You don't have to have 100,000 ground troops on the ground.
Yeah. Things are changing rapidly.
Cannons.
Yeah. Things are changing very rapidly, but we're getting a chance to see it in Ukraine, which is it's a good practice for us. It's always, the one good thing about America always being a perpetual war is that you learn when you're at war. You learn what works and what
America stays at war. They don't know what to do.
I mean, it's conflicts. Things go on around the world. And at the end of the day, most of the time it's against people who we're.
Well, I'm saying America's been at war since its inception. You can look it up.
I believe you. I'm not. Yeah. When I think about it, you have to look at.
We got out of Afghanistan, and they was like, "Oh, I got that itch. I got to blow some shit up."
But yeah,
somebody step on our toe.
I'm definitely. It was a good interview. We should go watch it though. The interview with Vladimir Putin, just to kind of learn a little bit about him. But at the end of the day, you need to understand and listen to what he's really saying. Pretty much, I mean, they want to get non-interference. They understand that they're in a trap position in Russia. They have a dwindling population. They need to take more territory. Eventually, it's going to turn into a bigger conflict because some of the countries they're going to have to go into are a part of NATO, which we have treaties with, which if they go to war, we go to war. It's already set in stone. That's what it is. This is what helps America project power around the world. These are people who give us information.
Yeah.
So us turning our back, let's turn to the person who
and all this stuff is important too, because in a couple months we're gonna have to pick out which senior citizen we want that's senile enough to run our country.
It's crazy. I mean, it's a bad situation, really. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah.
You look at both of the candidates, man, and
I think they should fight for president.
Man, it'd be a tough one.
It'd be hilarious. I want to see them put on some boxing gloves and just fight with them two old ass men.
I wish it was 5-6 years ago. I think Biden would have got it, but right now it's a tough one. Biden don't really have any kind of umph in him. But Trump, you see him square it with was it Sean Strickland or something like that? Was he a UFC fighter?
No.
Man, I wish we had the clip. If we got the clip, we're gonna put it in here.
Yeah.
Man, you should have seen the way he squared up, the way he wiggled, the way you could tell this man he ain't never even had to pinch nobody before in his life. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But it's because he comes.
That's what I'm saying. You see Biden throw them old hit.
I think he came from more of a background of where he probably had to get into more scuffles because Trump come from money. It just is what it is.
Well, he was probably a bully when he grew up. So he had how bullies are. You got those two goons that don't want to get picked on with you and they beat up everybody for you. Hold them for me, guys. Don't talk to my girl. Punching him in the stomach. That's my lady.
Hey, but
paying his driver to slap people. Slap him, Kringo.
Hey, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting, man, when we get to the point of where we really have to decide. I feel like this is gonna be a close one. You know what I mean? I really feel like it's gonna be a close.
Joe Biden used to be the old dude back in the day. He used to have the suspenders and be like, "So you motherfuckers want a problem?"
I mean, what do you think about both candidates?
Both of them? I think they're too old to be running for president. I think Joe Biden's too old. His memory is leaving him no matter what they try to say. I think Donald Trump's too old. I think his memory is leaving him also. I think at a certain age, you shouldn't be allowed to hold office. We are being run by old senile people.
Yeah, all over the place. I mean, look at happened with Mitch McConnell where he
froze up multiple times.
Oh, man, it's just crazy. And they know it too. And they're like, try to rush him out of here real quick.
Who's the Senate? They got a lady, they have to wheel her in a wheelchair.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Not because she can't, because she's too old.
That's like term limits for even the Supreme Court. They're talking about getting term limits for them as well too, because they're that lifetime appointment stuff. You're dying as a Supreme Court justice. I mean, it's
well, they want a lifetime appointment for the Supreme Court justice because Democrats is in their feelings. That's life. But they should have everyone should have a term limit. You shouldn't just be able to be in your job position forever. I mean, but if you got to, especially Supreme Court justices, they should at least have to be reelected after so many years.
Something. You know what I mean? Like
we don't even elect them. Like,
I mean, they're appointed. I think that also is supposed to stop against like special interest groups being able to influence them.
Yeah.
But they still do because they give them flights here. They pay for kids' colleges. I think it was Alito. Don't get me wrong. It might not have been Alito.
It's Clarence Thomas.
No, it was him too. But one of them just died like a few years back.
I like how they focus on Claire. I like how they focus on Clarence Thomas. Like he's going to be the one they can get rid of. They're like, we can get rid of the black one. Go on, just focus. No, hell no. Your wife helped plan January 6th. You still sitting there.
Yeah, he's already stuck in stone. But one of them died at a resort that was from one of his donors that he was at, and he died there. I mean, of like probably natural causes. Who knows how he died? But this is what's going on. They're already getting influenced by special interest groups just by money, whatever else.
He probably died from double skeet. He's digging his nose.
Jesus. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But,
yo, I'm gonna need you to rule on this. Yo, snaps his fingers. 3 hookers come out. These are top flight hookers.
But I'm thinking like with this election, man, it's like I'm me personally, and even though I'm not happy doing it, but I think he's done good at being president. I think he's done a good job of being president, and that's Biden. I won't say that I believe that he has all of his faculties, that he's like he's really keen and everything's on point. I don't believe that. I watch him too, and I'm like,
yeah, you can see in his eyes. He'd be like, "Where am I?"
At the end of the day, I feel like his administration has.
He's looking like, "Why are the black people free?"
You know what I mean? I believe his administration has done a good job. Me personally,
yeah.
What I'm saying, and not just. I mean, I could go over all. We're gonna have another. We'll have another cast about as far as all of his accomplishments and what he's accomplished during his presidency. But me personally, I feel like I'm more personally aligned with where he's heading and where he's taking the country. Not in all regards. There's a few of them that I don't agree with. Gun laws that they're trying to pass.
Yeah, I don't like the gun laws.
Other things when it comes to children and just like in rules about that they're making about that. I don't agree with that. So just at this point in time, I really think there's a lot that needs to be discussed, but we need to like kind of learn more, get more information, not just look at a person like, it was good when he was in office because we were getting money. Like Ply said, I mean, was it Plies or was it Rick Ross? He was like, was you getting
Rick
money?
Ross. Rick Ross. He's like, was you getting money or was you stealing it?
You know what I mean? You better pay attention to really what was really going on.
Yeah, people was like, he was eating during Biden. No, the PPE loans destroyed your neighborhood worse than crack.
I mean, and so
no, I can't say that. I can't say that.
They were getting money.
Yeah, they was getting money.
You know what I mean? But you got to look at it like that's kind of we have to look at the facts of what's really happened and what really didn't happen. Who was in? Look at their administration. Who's in the back office with them? We don't see anybody that look like us in Trump's back office. None. I think he had like one person who was like his HUD secretary. Who was that?
What was it? Herman Cain?
No, it wasn't Herman Cain. Wasn't his?
The surgeon.
I forget his name right now.
Yeah, the surgeon. Is he still alive? I know Herman Cain's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
He died from
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson, yeah, the surgeon.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, but he's the only person there, and he's not in any of the important meetings. And so you better look at who looks like you that's in that back room. You look at and
do they really represent you too? Are they a foundational Black American, or are they an immigrant? And because there's a difference. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking nobody because the police don't discriminate, so I shouldn't. But there's a difference. We all have different interests.
You look at like people like Vivek Ramaswamy and
Candace Owens. Candace Owens she claims, I mean, she's good. She says some smart stuff, but she claims she's a Caribbean. She doesn't have the same interest and the same bloodline and the same pain as the person that was foundational.
At one point in time, she had put did a harass
when she was a child.
No, it was like in 2008 or something like that. She did a racial discrimination lawsuit against the place she worked for. So it was like that was her thing. Yeah. Then all of a sudden now, when something else works for you, I don't know. She seems very intelligent.
She is.
At the same time, I don't know enough about her. But when I'm spending like Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley, they're like, oh, we don't see racism. It's because they're immigrants. They've come here later. That's not to knock immigrants, not to say all immigrants feel that way, but they came here later. They came here after the 1960s. They came here after we did the heavy lifting of
after the Civil Rights Act.
You can't even listen. I can't listen to a person who tells me I don't see this. Just because you weren't around, your family wasn't around for that. And it's easier for you to say it. Nikki Haley, I mean, to be real with you, if you didn't tell me.
She can pass. She's been passing for it.
I wouldn't have known that. That's not to say that But anyway, so that's kind of what I see when it comes to people who are trying to talk like they don't see these things or these things don't exist or we should just ignore them and move past them. You can't move past something until you remedy it, rectify, the problems that's with it. But
yeah.
What else were we?
I think that's about it. Let us know what y'all think.
What are we talking about? What about the Chiefs?
The Chiefs?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, the shooting at the parade?
Yes.
Yeah. There was a shooting at the Chiefs parade. It was after the parade got over. About 10 people were hit. One person so far had died. So, by the time this airs, we know how many are, but there's guns everywhere. I couldn't see the suspects. They kept showing pictures of 2 black dudes, and there's a picture of a Mexican dude they arrested, and a picture of a white dude they arrested. There's 2 suspects shooting back and forth at each other. They took them in custody, so they must have not have been black, but who knows? But people, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, people are gun control now.
Yeah, I don't believe in that.
Get the gun. No, I don't believe in the gun control. Gun control, all that means is you're just making it harder for law-abiding citizens to be able to own firearms. Because a criminal, the thing about a criminal, he gonna get his gun.
People say that, man, but look at what happened in Japan. This is not me saying I'm advocating for gun. I'm not for that at all. We have a Second Amendment for a reason. I believe in that 110%. What I'm saying is go to Japan and try to get a gun. Yeah,
but that's Japan. They didn't air Jerry Springer in Japan. That has a lot to do with everything, all right? That has a lot to do with everything. We have so much crazy influence. They don't have football in Japan.
Look at some of their commercials. It's crazy too. But look at like in England, Great Britain. They don't have nearly the amount of. Go to countries.
No, they run around with big old butcher knives. They be stabbing people.
With a butcher
knife. You can get to 7. You can get to 7 if you're quick enough. Shoot, they had a dude in the UK, bro. He killed like 12 people with a bow and arrow. And I don't know exactly where he was, but he was in the bushes and he was took out 12 people with a bow and arrow. If you want to kill somebody, you're gonna kill somebody.
I'm just saying, bro. It's a lot less likely if you don't. People say that that's a good excuse when they say that criminals will find guns. But once you
will.
Get to a point,
look at New York. New York, they got no. You can't have any. You get caught with a gun. It's 2 years in jail, right?
But you got to. Okay, this is like first generation.
Chicago, you ain't supposed to have a gun in Chicago.
That's not true. I don't think
no. They're not supposed to have a gun in Chicago, just like New York. Sure. Yep.
Okay, so let's get to this point real quick. Okay, this is first generation stuff. This is probably 10 years ago, maybe the law just came about. So people already had probably millions of guns in New York already, millions of guns. It wasn't going to change anything. And at the same time, too, New York is still attached to New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, everywhere else that can just flood guns. It's not like a country that has borders.
But think about it. Me as a law-abiding citizen, I can't have a gun. And if I do, then I'm a criminal. But the criminals got the guns because they don't care.
I think you can have
New York, you have to get a permit. You have to get a permit and permission.
You can't have a gun.
You can own one, but you have to get permission. You have to do all this paperwork to get a gun.
If I'm a street criminal, pretty much like you say, I can go to New Jersey and pick up whatever I want. Right back
I don't know about Jersey. Only thing I know about Jersey is Joe Budden and Queen Latifah. But like I'm saying,
overall, you can pretty much go to another state.
Yeah, just like Chicago. That's what I'm saying. They leave out of Chicago and they go to a neighboring town. They get the guns. They bring them back. Me as a citizen who pays
purge laws, like some type of a purge law,
where they're just not going to arrest them for a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know specifics on it. I have to look it up. Yeah, but I'm saying like this: I don't want to be a law-abiding citizen, and then these criminals run around with guns, and I can't own one. I can't have one.
I don't think that should be the case ever.
I wear my gun next to me on the toilet.